Guys, big breaking news coming out. World War III update. Russia reacts as US President waits Tomahawk missiles for Ukraine. At the same time, Putin ally fires nuclear warning at US President. And we're going to see what's going on here, guys. And we did post a video yesterday. J.D. Vance, the vice president, gave a very important update that the U.S. president is planning on sending Tomahawk missiles. Something that Joe refused. Alright, and there's a reason why Joe refused to send Tomahawk, because WW3. Donald is not Joe, and Donald's saying, I will send these Tomahawk. I'm done with Putin. And now Russia is responding, saying, you better be careful, Donald. You better be careful when it comes to sending the very powerful Tomahawk missiles. Alright, guys, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. And for those of you that want to contribute to the channel, we do have the Cash App link and the PayPal link in the comments box and also description box. Thank you again for your support. Your support is what keeps us on air. All right, leave comments down below. You think Donald is crossing a line here? Leave comments down below. Do you think it's a good idea for him to send Tomahawk? Again, for me, I think it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing, because this is going to lead to another path of biblical war, tensions rising between the bear, Russia, and U.S. So again, that's my opinion. I believe that this is going to lead to a huge escalation. Leave comments down below, guys. So once again, the Kremlin said there is no panacea for Ukraine in the ongoing war, as U.S. commander waits sending Kiev long-range Tomahawk so it can strike deep into Russia. Dmitry, the spokesman for the Russian leader, also questioned whether Americans will be involved in targeting or launching the weapons if they can end up in Ukraine. Now remember, guys, Zelensky said a few days ago, we're going to get to that one too. He said we're sending a message to Russia: end the war or find bomb shelter. And we were all trying to figure out what was the message about. Boom, Tomahawk. Tomahawk have a range of approximately 1,000 miles, which will put Moscow within the reach of Ukraine's forces, and also allow them to hit military targets deep in the bear, such as air bases and armament factories. Man. Yeah, the bear's not going to tolerate that. Calculated risk. What's the consequences to all this? But handing Tomahawks to Kiev would escalate a conflict the U.S. commander is struggling to end, and risk setting off a chain of events that could end with a direct war between the bear and NATO. Two sides armed with huge arsenal of nuclear. There you go. There you go. So Donald is really, again, he needs to think twice before making this huge decision. See, in Donald's mind, this is going to scare Vladimir, and he's going to end the war and give the territory back to Zelensky. No, Donald. No. This is provoking the bear. You're going to spark WW3. Here's the thing, guys. I remember Donald said Joe's going to take us to WW3. Remember when Joe gave the green light to Zelensky to fire long range and to hit Russia? What did Donald said? Donald's like, he's going to take us to WW3. He's going to take us to WW3. But now look at Donald. The table has turned. And it seems like it's not Joe, it's the Donald is going to take us to WW3. It says here it would be a calculated gamble designed to pressure the bear into finally ending its biblical war against Crane, but one with potentially disastrous consequences if it backfires. We have heard these statements, Peskov said at a press briefing on Monday, September 29, originally in Russian, in response to a question about the U.S. Commander-in-Chief considering Tomahawks for Crane. We are carefully analyzing them. Our military specialists are closely monitoring this, Peskov said, according to state news agency TASS. So once again, that's the latest update today. The question, as before, is the following. Who can launch these missiles, even if they end up on the territory of Kiev regime? Now, let's stop here for a second. Now, you guys know, Crane, they don't have the satellites. They can't fire these equipments. It's us that fire the equipment. It's like this. It's like placing a nuke on Ukraine. Zelensky cannot fire it. It's the sleeping giant that pushes the button. Just like Orishnik, Russia has Orishnik in Belarus. Belarus President Alexander Lukashenko, he cannot push the button. He can't. Even though he has the Orishnik in his territory, he can't push the button. Vladimir is the one that pushes the button. So this Tomahawk, who is the one that's going to push the button? It ain't going to be Z. It ain't going to be Zelensky. It ain't going to be NATO. I do believe it's going to be the sleeping giant. They're going to push the button. The question, as before, is the following. Who can launch these missiles, even if they end up on the territory of Kiev regime? Can they be launched only by Ukrainians, or must it still be done by American military personnel? Who provides the targeting for these missiles? A very deep analysis is needed here. He added, even if this is the case, there is no panacea that can now change the situation on the front for the Kiev regime. There are no magic equipment, whether it is Tomahawk or other missiles. They will not be able to change the dynamics. Now here's the vice president. JD reveals U.S. commander considering Tomahawk request. Speaking to Fox News in an interview taped Friday, U.S. VP said that the U.S. commander administration was reviewing a request by Ukrainian President Zelensky for Tomahawk missiles. It's something that the president is going to make the final determination on. I know that we are reviewing that request. We are also reviewing a number of other requests, the VP said. Now, the U.S. has so far resisted requests from Ukraine for long-range weapons that could hit Moscow, fearing the potential for a catastrophic escalation of the biblical war. I don't know, guys. I just feel like this is going to backfire. But the U.S. commander efforts to broker the peace, including engaging the bear directly, even meeting Vladimir in person on American soil in Alaska, have been met with an intensification of the invasion by Moscow. The bear unleashed a barrage of drones and missiles on Ukraine overnight into Sunday, taking at least 4, with Kiev suffering the heaviest. It was the first major bombardment since an airstrike on Ukraine's capital left at least 21 gone last month. The U.S. commander is now seeking to increase the pressure on the bear to make peace. He has urged Kiev European allies to hit the bear with tougher sanctions and tariffs, including measures targeting Moscow's main strategic ally, the Red Dragon, China, and said that the U.S. would follow their lead in doing so. It says here, the U.S. leader also said he thinks NATO allies should take down the Russian aircraft that violate their airspace after a series of alleged incursions. Moscow has called the accusation unfounded and warned NATO against shooting any of its aircraft down, saying it would be seen as an act of aggression that would receive a direct response. Boom. Alright, so we're going to go with this next one here, guys. I'm not going to read the whole thing because, again, we already talked about this. But the reason why I want to bring this one up because it's related to the story that I just... Give me a second here. Here we go. It's related to the story that I just read to you. So Vladimir ally fires nuclear warning at the U.S. commander. Alright, so we're going to see what's going on here, guys. And if you can, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thank you again for your support. It says here, Zelensky, in an interview with Axios, said that the U.S. commander had given his explicit backing to Ukrainian strikes on Russian targets, such as energy infrastructure and arms factory, and that if Kiev received more long-range American weaponry, then we will use it. Now, the Kiev, I'm going to skip that name, said that the Kremlin should know where a bomb shelter is, so its occupants can hide when he uses long-range American weapons. I just talked about it. Tomahawk and others. Dmitry, who is deputy chairman to the Bear president on the Kremlin Security Council and is himself a former president and prime minister of Russia in a post on X. So what the person needs to know is, this is Dmitry saying, referring to Zelensky. What the person needs to know is that the Bear can use weapons a bomb shelter won't protect against. Americans should also keep this in mind. So things are not looking good here, guys. Tensions between the Bear and U.S.-led NATO, both sides armed with devastating arsenal of nuclear, have escalated sharply in recent weeks as Moscow invasion of Ukraine thunders on. Despite the U.S. commander effort to broker a peace deal, the potential for direct NATO-Russia clash is increasing. NATO allies have accused Russia of a series of serious violations of their airspace. Allegations, Moscow says, lack evidence. In one such incident, Poland says it had to take down a dozen Russian drones that violated its airspace and threatened its security during a strike on neighboring western Ukraine. The U.S. commander, speaking at a press conference alongside Zelensky during the United Nations General Assembly meeting in New York, said he thought NATO countries should take down the Bear aircraft entering their airspace. We almost done with this one here. Let me just finish this one off. The U.S. commander said Ukraine could recapture all land. I don't know how, guys, because I remember Donald said, he told Zelensky, you can't pick a fight with someone who's bigger than you. Now all of a sudden, a few months later, Donald has a change of heart. You could take all the territory back. I have faith in you. He also posted to his Truth social platform that with NATO support, Ukraine could win back all of the territory seized by the Bear over the course of its full-scale invasion. Why not? The U.S. commander wrote, the Bear has been fighting aimlessly for 3.5 years, a war that should have taken a real military power less than a week to win. No. Sometimes, again, I like Donald, but sometimes he just, again, it just very prideful. He keeps saying certain things, and again, it's like him saying, I can end this war in 24 hours. He can't. He can't. Sometimes he does talk a lot. So it says here, this is not distinguishing Russia. In fact, it is very much making them look like a paper tiger. You know that saying, the loudest one in the room is the weakest. Donald is really loud. He's really yapping a lot. He's really talking too much. The bear is very quiet. Very quiet. The loudest one in the room is the weakest. Donald needs to remain humble, stay quiet. The U.S. commander continued, when the people living in Moscow and all of the great cities, towns, and districts all throughout the bear find out what is really going on with this war, the fact that it's almost impossible for them to get gasoline, and that's very true with the gasoline, that's very true, through the long lines that are being formed and all of the other things that are taking place in their war economy, where most of their money is being spent on fighting Ukraine, which has great spirit and only getting better. Ukraine will be able to take back their country in its original form, and who knows, maybe even go further than that. Donald, in 2022, again, it's very important to bring this up. The bear said this: if our economy collapses and if we lose this war, everybody is coming down with us. Everyone. So you could hit all the oil facility. You could send a Tomahawk and stuff like that. The bear has warned, if they lose this war, everyone is coming down. Everyone. And that's not good, Donald. Don't let those that is, around you deceive you. Don't buy into the bait. Stay away from it. This is not our biblical war. This is not our business. But of course, now we're going to get involved because, again, I stopped 7 wars. I could do this one too. Yeah, being too prideful there. Again, the bear is, the bear is a very powerful country. So we don't want to get involved with that, but it seems like we're about to see WWE3 with the bear. If he sends these Tomahawk missiles, it's game time. They already fired HIMARS. They already fired HIMARS yesterday. Alright guys, leave comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you all. Till next time later. Peace.